All right, Steve, you were going to blow the minds of our viewers today, right? Let's see what you got. When people tell me about an animal that hunts snakes, I think of a honey badger, the mongoose, or even the king cobra. In short, anyone but a spider. Moreover, spiders usually prey on all sorts of insects and other small creatures within their weight category. But not these spiders. Nephelopilipes are large spiders that weave huge webs up to 3.3 feet in diameter or even more. This species has giant females and very tiny males. But most importantly, their size makes them quite picky about what they eat. They sometimes simply throw smaller prey out of their webs and wait for a more nutritious snack. And if they get a snake, the venom of Nephelopilipes can handle snakes. Seriously, they love to eat the snake as if it was just a butterfly. Moreover, there are times when even birds get tangled in their web. And this looks like a wasp spider, and apparently it doesn't mind having a snake for a snack. And if you know for sure what species this voracious creature belongs to, share in the comments. In fact, when you look into the matter, you realize that quite a few spiders stick to this unusual diet. Scientists have found that at least 11 different families of spiders feed on snakes. Some of them, such as tarantulas, seek their prey on the ground, while others rely on webs. But in my opinion, the most dangerous spider the snakes need to stay as far away as possible is the Australian black widow. It has quite a specific taste, mostly because it's a very, very small creature. Imagine that something the size of an M&M candy can kill you. No wonder snakes are also at risk. The Australian black widow's venom is enough to take down, for example, the eastern brown snake. Keep in mind, that's one of the most venomous land snakes in the world, which is also 30 times larger than a small spider, and clearly has no intention to become someone's dinner. But the web of the Australian black widow hangs down to the ground, so the snakes can get into it by accident just crawling through. Then the spider uses stickier threads to totally subdue the resisting prey. All that's left is to make a few bites to the head and body, wrap the prey in a web, and take it aside to eat it with no rush. This is not an isolated case. Occasionally, both scientists and ordinary people see Australian black widows catching eastern brown snakes. And each time, it seems that it's simply impossible to eat prey this big. Well, if the Australian black widow heard this, it'd surely say, "Hold my beer." It's amazing, of course, how voracious these creatures are and how deadly they are. But alright, you can actually expect spiders to be bloodthirsty. But when you look at this bird, can you believe it's a cruel murderer? Here's a loggerhead shrike from the shrike family. It weighs about 2 ounces, but earned the nickname butcher bird because it impales its prey on prickly branches and fences with barbed wire. This is a great place to store food, especially when prey is scarce and you have to stock up on it. Insects, sparrows, rodents, and lizards usually become victims of shrikes, as well as snakes. Yes, snakes are also a part of the shrike menu. And not all sorts of harmless little ones, but also cottonmouths, a species of viper that can reach 3 feet long. Just imagine a tiny butcher bird versus a venomous snake, and yet the bird prevails. To be honest, I wouldn't have any doubts about the hawk. It looks like an animal that can actually kill and eat a snake. But not just kill. I found out a hawk that dropped a snake at a car at full speed. You know, there are signs on the roads that warn of wild animals that can run onto the lane. Looks like Australia needs signs about hawks dropping snakes. It's not clear whether the bird was aiming at the car or just wanted to drop its prey to the ground to kill it, because some birds actually do this. Herons, for example, drop snakes on hard surfaces like tree trunks or rocks to stun them. As soon as the snake has no strength to fight back, the heron can eat it whole in 2 or 3 gulps, leaving the rest to the gastric juice. Seems like a logical use of your skills. If you have venom, you kill with venom. If you can fly, you use gravity. According to this logic, there has to be an animal that drowns the snakes. Looks like alligators do just that. According to an article published in the Mirror, the alligator's main method of killing is to drown its prey, clamping on it with its jaws and giving it a good shake. This breaks bones and shatters internal organs, while the water does the rest. Meanwhile, the menu of alligators includes a variety of snakes from non-venomous Burmese pythons to the very dangerous Russell's vipers. But I still wanted to get more proof just in case. And here's what Steve found. Snakes that spend enough time in the water can hold their breath to avoid predators. Anacondas, for example, can hold their breath for 10 minutes, and sea snakes can last up to 2 hours if they really want to. Those sea snakes will hardly be caught by an alligator. By the way, what about reptiles themselves? Crocodiles usually stay underwater for 10 to 15 minutes during dives, but if they absolutely have to, they can survive without oxygen for up to 2 hours. Alligators are even better at that. They can spend 20 to 30 minutes underwater in normal conditions and up to a day if they have to. So an alligator who wants to drown a snake has every chance to do so if it wants. Wait, since I said if it wants to, it's time to talk about creatures that can seemingly do anything if they want to. Ants. Seriously, the more I study ants, the more I'm convinced they still haven't created their own super civilizations or taken over the world just because they don't want to. So, if they want to eat a snake, what would stop them? For example, animal behaviorist Sean O'Donnell witnessed how army ants of the Cheliomyrmex andicola species ate the carcass of a snake. And many other reports suggest ants can team up to attack and kill snakes and then pull their pieces apart. Most likely, they use a toxin that paralyzes the victim. A typical working strategy. In fact, many ants don't mind eating vertebrate meat, but so far Cheliomyrmex andicola is the only case of a conscious attack and devouring of large prey. Okay, how about this? Toads that kill snakes that hunt them, right when the snakes are eating them. I've already mentioned cane toads several times. They're originally from North, Central, and South America, but at some point they ended up in Australia and became killers of local snakes. Moreover, the toads themselves do nothing special, they just live their toad life, and the snakes just hunt them. But the thing is, a cane toad is a very large amphibian that can literally get stuck in a snake's mouth. This is the problem a snake can somehow handle. Unlike the toxins the toad skin releases, they can even kill humans. So a snake eating a cane toad takes a serious risk. Usually, while trying to swallow its nonchalant prey, the predator changes its mind dramatically and stays alive. A snake caught by a short-toed snake eagle doesn't get this chance, at least because this bird of prey literally specializes in snakes. Well, in some lizards. Sometimes short-toed snake eagles are so eager to eat some kind of snake, even if it's large, they're prepared to fight it on the ground. After the fight's over, the snake eagle tears its prey apart and eats its internals, because it knows the entire snake won't fit inside. Well, if the prey is smaller, the snake eagle simply swallows it like herons. It feels great. I think this is an evolutionary adaptation because even snake eagle chicks feed on whole snakes their parents regurgitate for them. This is very cute, I guess. Actually, I want to know in detail how the stomachs of these birds works. Because, well, not every bird with a beak like that can do this, but Steve said it's a rather shy species that prefers to stay away from humans. And in some areas, it's even considered endangered, so there's almost no data. But of all the snake killers we have in today's video, the secretary bird is my favorite. And not just because it looks really funny. Just check out these feathers around its head. The main thing is the way they hunt. Snakes are the basis of this bird's diet, but they don't dive at it like other birds. They hunt, let's say, on foot, attacking the prey with their feet. It looks like a weird dance during which these birds stamp on snakes with such force they die in a split second. Each blow is damn fast. The contact time between the feet and the snake is on average 15 milliseconds, about a tenth of the time it takes to blink an eye. There's a reason they're so fast. When your menu includes venomous snakes, you really need to act quickly if you don't want to die. It might look like the secretary bird is not that strong, but if scaled up to human size, their strength is the equivalent to Steve kicking with about half a ton of force with his heel. No, Steve, please don't. Well, you get the idea. If the secretary bird stamps not hard enough or fast enough, it'll die from a venomous bite. Roadrunners find themselves in roughly the same situation. You may know these birds from the cartoon Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Although in real life, they're certainly not blue and don't say beep beep. Though it doesn't matter when we have a bird that eats rattlesnakes. The Roadrunners, of course, have speed on their side. This bird can't stomp, but it can accelerate to 20 miles per hour. It's also good at maneuvering. It can even take off when push comes to shove. Snakes just can't keep up. All that a reptile can count on is a lightning-fast bite. If that doesn't happen, the Roadrunner bites the snake's head with surgical precision, then smashes its prey on the ground. Usually a couple of blows is enough, and the Roadrunner swallows the snake whole. Well, sometimes the prey's too large, but this doesn't bother the bird, and it doesn't cut it or abandon a part of it. The Roadrunner will wander around with the snake dangling from its mouth, minding its business and gradually swallowing the prey inch by inch until it's completely digested. See you later.